Thank you for watching NTD Business. Coming up tonight, Elon Musk visits Twitter today. What's he doing there, and how soon is he expected to close the deal? Americans think they need at least $1.25 million in order to retire comfortably, far more than the amount last year. Why, and how should you prepare? And a Saudi prince warning the U.S. not to misuse its emergency oil supply. Why? We have the details. That and much more coming up on NTD Business. Great having you with us. Don Ma here. Elon Musk is at Twitter HQ today, and he brought a sink with him. He's there ahead of the expected close of his deal to buy the company, according to Twitter. Musk tweeted a video of himself entering the office carrying a sink, writing, "Entering Twitter HQ. Let that sink in," seemingly implying that he would soon become the owner of the social media company. The video has gotten over 6 million views. Musk today also changed his Twitter bio to Chief Twit. Bloomberg earlier reported Musk is expected to close the deal by Friday. And out onto the housing market, U.S. mortgage rates have hit their highest level in over 20 years. This is according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, or MBA. Higher mortgage rates mean larger debt repayments, and not surprisingly, now fewer people are applying to buy homes. Mortgage applications as well dropped about 2% last week, according to MBA. Applications are down to their slowest pace in 25 years. Home sales as well, also down. Sales of new single-family homes dropped 10.9% in September. Yet another sign that higher mortgage rates are choking the housing market. And you may have to take a look at your retirement account because you may need at least $1.25 million in there if you want to retire comfortably in America. This is what many Americans think, according to a survey by Northwestern Mutual. Americans also think the expected retirement age has risen from 62 to 64. They expect to be working longer because they have less money, and over 4 out of 10 Americans simply don't think they have the money to retire. And if you feel $1.25 million is a lot, well, you're not alone. The president of Retirement Genius, Chris Orestis, agrees.
You would have to save $100,000 a year for 12 years. So let's say you were saving half that for 25 years to try and hit that number. That's a pretty big goal for the average worker when you consider the average income in the United States.
And here's a key part of the story. The magic number wasn't always so high. Last year, Americans thought they would need far less, 20% less to be exact. Orestis says it's because of the current state of the economy.
Seeing the number spike really is a reflection of inflation and people's economic insecurity. As we sit here right now, the stock market is down from last year around 16%. And if you had, say, 1.25 million saved, and you were looking to now live off income, you'd want to be generating, a return of 7 to 10% on that money.
Now, if you don't think you're going to have that much before you retire, well, don't feel concerned just yet because every financial specialist we spoke to dismissed the number as arbitrary. Everyone's situation is different. Not everyone necessarily needs that much money. And different financial advisors have different approaches to retirement. The chief financial analyst at Bankrate.com, Greg McBride, told us how he thinks people should calculate how much they need.
The amount that you need to build up needs to produce an amount of money that at a 3% annual withdrawal rate is enough to meet your expenses. $1.25 million might work for some people, might not work for others. 3% withdrawal rate on a nest egg of that size produces $37,500 a year in income.
The president of Retirement Genius, Chris Orestis, has yet another approach that's based on your current income.
You'd want to make sure you have in the neighborhood of 70% of your peak earning income in savings and investments to generate an income that would be in that level, about 70% of your peak earnings. because 1.25 million might be a lot of money for somebody, but it might be not even close to enough for somebody else. So you want to tie it to your income versus an arbitrary number.
Another financial advisor, Christian Mills, says that people should focus on how much they need each month as opposed to how much they need in total. But more importantly, he highly advises hiring a professional financial planner instead of doing it all yourself.
It does not matter what your, how much money you make or anything. They have financial planners that work with every person in any socioeconomic, strata. Work with somebody and help them, tell you what your options are, especially those folks that are living paycheck to paycheck.
And the majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. A recent report from Lending Club found that 63% of Americans would be immediately in trouble if they lost their jobs. And this is far more than the amount last year, 7 percentage points to be precise. Lending Club also blames this on high inflation. It says wages aren't keeping up with the soaring prices and that financial distress is heading towards an all-time high. And moving on, Saudi Arabia's energy minister seems to be warning the U.S. not to misuse its emergency oil supply to lower gas prices. NTD's Colin Fredrickson has more on what he said.
A warning from Saudi Arabia's energy minister Tuesday appeared aimed at U.S. President Joe Biden. Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman accused countries of using their emergency oil reserves to, quote, manipulate energy prices rather than helping with shortages of supply.
It's everybody's choice. However, it is my profound duty to make it clear to the world that losing emergency stock may become painful in the months to come.
His remarks come after Biden recently announced plans to sell an additional 15 million barrels from America's strategic petroleum reserve. Biden's team is trying to curb high gasoline prices in the wake of production cuts from OPEC. Relations with the United States deteriorated earlier this month when the OPEC Plus group of oil producers decided to cut output. Saudi Arabia is the de facto leader of the group. The decision prompted the Biden administration to warn there would be consequences for U.S. ties with Riyadh. The prince said Saudi Arabia had chosen to be, quote, the mature party when asked about how to get the energy relationship with the U.S. back on track. The remarks came at the kingdom's yearly Future Investment Initiative Forum. Despite tensions, the three-day event saw a big turnout from American executives as it kicked off on Tuesday. But no Biden administration officials were visible. Colin Fredrickson, NTD News.